Welcome to Words from My Face. On tonight's show, we're giving you a beta watch. A beta watch is what I was about to say, but I meant to say an Overwatch Beta. First thoughts. We're giving you a Captain America 3 Civil War review and talking about TV shows you should watch this summer. Stay tuned. My hair's kind of weird today. It's like lopsided. Like this side wants to stay flat and this side doesn't.
No one cares about your hair, Brian.
Everybody cares because they're looking at it. They're probably like, yeah, Brian, you're right. Your hair is weird today. What's up with that? No, Brittany found me out again. How long ago? And what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Words to My Face. My name is Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
You.
And we are the one and only home of the Chewbacca chainsaws. Yes, and Brendan always does have that weird look on his face when he dodges the chainsaw because it's not a very fun thing to do. You know, it takes a lot of concentration.
It's disconcerting.
To his facial features.
That's the word that I'll use to describe.
Disconcerting.
Yeah.
Good word for it. Good word for it. So, what would be concerning?
A teddy bear.
Okay. And if you can be underwhelmed or overwhelmed, can you be just whelmed?
Baby.
That I stole that last one from Young Justice. That's a little bit of a joke that they keep going throughout everything. It's pretty good. If you haven't seen Young Justice and you're a fan of cartoons that involve superheroes, check it out. Check it out. Just saying.
Yeah, well, if you want the real answer, there are in fact certain words that their stem no longer is in use, and so we don't really have the stem words. We just have their add-ons.
Yeah, well, that works. That works. Good.
That's how it goes. No one
But
cares about
tonight is Monday night. It is entertainment night. So we're going to talk some of that stuff.
Yep. Perhaps we'll talk many of those things.
Do it.
All right, so movies. We're going to start with movies. We're going to be talking about Captain America 3 Civil War. Take it away, Brian.
Wait. I said you take it away, Brendan. I'm not going to take it away.
Yes, and as the one that took it away, I'm having you take it away again. It's passing the ball back and forth.
What you doing?
See, look, a real superhero would know how to catch the ball when it's passed to them.
I never said I was a superhero.
Why claim to be a superhero now, Brian?
Okay. All right. So this is what happens when I throw the show over to Brendan. He just throws it right back.
Well, the topic at hand is to review a movie that I haven't seen.
Review it, Brendan. Review it.
All right, so Captain America 3 Civil War. I think they were trying to do too much with this movie. It's Civil War. There should have been 7 movies, and it should have all been about the entire Avengers group. And so, no one should see it. Ever.
Okay, so you can tell Brendan didn't see the movie, so good thing I'm going to be giving this review.
I also said that up front, that I have not seen this movie.
That's why I said it's a good thing I'm giving the review. You know, that's all I'm saying. I know I'm playing with my hair in weird ways. I'm just trying to make it fall like normal. But there we go. All right, let's jump into things. Let's talk some movies.
Movies!
And so Captain America 3 Civil War just came out this past weekend. Now, this had to be one of the most anticipated superhero movies of all time. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I can think of that was more hyped. Yeah, maybe the Avengers. Maybe Avengers 2 was...
I'll say Avengers 1 was probably more anticipated.
Yeah, no, I think in Avengers 1 people were still unsure what we were going to get from the Marvel Universe because they had some good ones, but they had also had some bad ones. And then Avengers came out, and that kind of might solidified, like, okay, we're going to be just getting solid things from Marvel. And then Avengers 2 came out. Everybody thought it was going to be better. It just wasn't.
You could go with either.
I mean, it was good.
You could go with either one as being the more anticipated, I would say.
Yeah. So Captain America 3 Civil War takes on a very, very famous story arc from the comics, which actually didn't happen all that long ago. I want to say about 10, 15 years ago is when Civil War came out.
Less than that, I think.
Yeah, and puts its own little twist on the events. Now, is this accurate retelling of what happened in Civil War? Absolutely not. Not at all. If you're looking for it to be just like in the comics, you're not looking forward to this movie. So that being said, let's jump right into things and let's start with acting. Now the acting is solid. It's what we've come to expect from Marvel movies. Everybody plays their parts well, and they played them so well that you can almost not imagine anybody else taking over the roles, especially like Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr. broke the mold on that, and Chris Evans has done an excellent Captain America. So everything falls in place pretty well. One thing I will say that they did super like it just was like, yay, thank you for doing this. If you remember in Avengers 2, Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Scarlet Witch, um, she has a horrible accent throughout most of it. I mean, absolutely horrible that seems to come and go as the movie goes on. And they just totally dropped the accent. So she doesn't have that accent anymore. So
Okay,
it just
it's a little
takes away a distracting part.
odd, but I guess if it helps, it helps.
Yeah, it didn't help the other movie. I mean, it literally just hurt the other movie having her have that stupid accent the entire time. So I'm glad they. And if she did have the accent, I didn't notice it. So still good, still good. So acting solid. What you expect. Now, without getting into any spoilers, we'll kind of discuss the plot. And I kind of combined them into two: the plot and the directing, because this is a movie that could have gone really haywire. They could have tried to fit everything in, and it really could have been convoluted, a la Batman versus Superman, and really just made the watered down the movie and just made it not as good of a movie. But they didn't. It seemed like the direction was very well put. There's a lot of moving pieces, yes, and they introduce a lot of characters without feeling like you have to go through an origin story for each one of these characters. I will tell you the two main ones, which if you've seen the previews, you know. Black Panther actually plays a pretty big role in the Avengers movie. Not Avengers, Captain America 3 movie, and Spider Man, which for the way they just threw him in there, because I believe they had already started filming before they had gotten the rights to Spider Man, and then they're like, okay, well, now we can. So Spider Man's going in Civil War. And it could have felt really thrown together. And if you really look at it, it pretty much is, but it still felt good in the movie. So uh, the director took the plot, streamlined it, made it so it made sense. And since this is a Captain America movie, yes, most of everything goes through Captain America's perspective, not as much through Tony Stark, but yeah, they still do a little bit of that here and there. So really did well. And they made it fluid. It was smooth. The new additions felt seamless. So I'm going to give it an A+ on plot and direction.
Well, that's kind of the most important part to yes, me.
No, no. The most important part is the next thing I'm going to review, and that was the action. Did it live up to a superhero movie action? Yes, it did. We had some great fights. Now you've seen the commercials, so I'm not spoiling anything, but you know there's a big fight in an airport, and it is an amazing fight in an airport between all the Avengers that we know today, except for Hulk and Thor. Those are the only two who don't make an appearance in this movie, but everybody else is there, and everybody else has a good part. And the fight in the airport was just it was probably about 10-15 minutes long, and it was just thrilling. I mean, just entertaining all the way through. Every superhero got to showcase their superpowers without, only focusing on one or two.
Or
They broke down the fights, they kind of split them up, and it works very well. Now, there's a couple times where you're like, well, if she could do that, and yes, I'm talking about Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. There's a couple times where it's like, wait, she can do that. Why doesn't she just do that to everybody? So you do have that in there, but that would make it less fun if you had her just use her superpowers and erase everybody's memory or something, or change the fabric of reality around them, which she can do. Um, so other than that, everything was just really well done. It was fluid. The action, the choreography was excellent. Everything just felt really, really, really good. So far, everything's hitting on all cylinders for this movie. Now, the big elephant in the room is Spider-Man. I talked about this a little bit before. He wasn't even thrown into this cast until they'd already started filming, I believe. It was definitely already written. They had to do some rewrites to incorporate him in there. And if you look at Spider-Man's appearance in the movie, you can kind of tell. You really can, because there's two parts where he really shows up. One where Tony Stark goes and gets him, and two, the scene you've seen in the commercials where he's fighting on Tony Stark's side against like Captain America and all those guys. And I just think they hit the nail on the head with Peter Parker. I was really worried with Tom Holland playing this guy, unknown actor. He's a British actor. You didn't know if he was really going to do it. But to be honest with you, from the first time I heard his voice, I felt this is Peter Parker. And then the way he talks, I was like, yeah, that's Peter Parker. And the way he interacts with the other heroes, I was like, yeah, Peter Parker. So I got to say that they knocked a home run out of the park. Marvel did again by picking Peter Parker as the Spider-Man. Now, some people might disagree with me, but the way I see Spider-Man is a witty, like teenager. You know, he's got witty banter. He's always discussing different things. He's a smart kid, but he's still young and new to things, which is, I think, why Spider-Man took off so well as a comic, because it's got those younger readers in there and got them involved and got them, you know, feeling for Peter Parker and the teen angst that he has, as well as, you know, fighting off all these supervillains. But in this movie, it just absolutely fit perfectly. Again, you can tell if you just kind of look at the movie, you can tell that he probably was thrown in there. They might have created that whole airport fight scene just to fit Spider-Man in there. So if that's the case, good, because that was the best part of the movie, was the airport fight scene. So yeah, it worked. But yeah, so I really haven't said anything negative about this movie at all. I'm trying to think. I should say something negative just because it's not a perfect movie, but it's a damn close to perfect movie. Um, I mean, I guess I could say that the big thing was it didn't really feel like Tony Stark was who he was in the movie. You know, like him joining up with the we're going to call them pro registration forces, even though that's not what they are. I don't want to spoil anything because I do think they do a really good job of diverting. Actually, do you think it'll be a spoiler if I tell you what the kickoff was for the events of Civil War?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I don't think it's much of a spoiler.
This is the problem. This is the one problem I really had with this movie. So the reason that they are all splitting sides is what happens is, you know, the Avengers, you've seen all the movies. The Avengers, you know, go through from place to place. There's lots of collateral damage going on. People get hurt. People get killed. And so you keep hearing this theme is that, oh, the superheroes come and they destroy all this stuff. Yeah, maybe to save our lives, but then they just leave and they don't help pick up the pieces. And I think about this and I'm like, okay, so that's what happens. And they bring up like New York when the aliens invaded New York. So you didn't want them there to stop the aliens? You wanted them to let the aliens destroy everybody, or say to the
you're
aliens,
not
hey,
better
aliens,
off from them not being there.
Yeah. Hey, aliens, do you mind not fighting us here? Can we go to this big open field where nobody will get hurt? Like, it's like, okay, that's stupid.
Yeah, they take pains in some of the movies to make sure that at least people were out of places that they were.
They did their superhero thing and they tried to evacuate as many people as they could. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were just being irresponsible. They weren't just like, oh, there's people over there. Who cares? I'm just going to fight these guys right here.
Anyway. Actually, Avengers too. It's already a government organization setting them in, isn't it? Isn't Shield a government organization?
They break off a Shield after towards the end of one.
Okay,
after
but during one,
the carrier.
A lot of it is still though facilitated and brought together by Shield,
by government agency,
who know who they are and are telling them, hey, there's a big problem. So
yeah,
go do it.
They brought them together pretty much. You know,
you pretty much don't need to register them at that point. You already know who they are. You brought them together and told them to go do a thing.
They want them to register. So what happens is after all this collateral damage stuff happens, well, the nation of Wakanda had a couple of its citizens killed during the events of Avengers 2 when they were fighting in Africa against those mercenaries. Pretty much when Scarlet Witch makes Hulk go crazy and Hulk and Iron Man have to fight it out in the city. I believe they were in Nigeria. I'm not 100% sure. But, you know, a couple citizens from Wakanda die. So Wakanda brings a motion towards the UN to say, okay, if these people really are superheroes, they really want to protect us, well, we should have some oversight over them. So what they have to do is pretty much join S.H.I.E.L.D. again. Almost. Not S.H.I.E.L.D., it's actually going to be directly directed by the UN.
So rather than a voluntary situation that they had with S.H.I.E.L.D., it would be a mandatory situation?
Like well, they're not allowed to be. No, they don't have to join. They just can't be superheroes afterwards if they don't want to. Well, if you don't join the UN group, then you're not allowed to practice being a superhero. Pretty much is
okay. So it's essentially against vigilantism, which has come up in comics before about whether a superhero is a vigilante or not.
So it is different than the way Civil War started, but that. And then the big thing that they're like, oh, this is why Tony Stark wants to be part of the group that you really don't think he should be part of because that really doesn't fit his personality. He meets a mother whose son died in, one of the attacks, where Tony Stark was fighting somebody and a building fell on him. So she makes him feel all guilty, and he's like, well, we need to be kept in check. Yeah, this is what we need to do. And Captain America says, well, you know what, there's a lot of, didn't I just expose all this corruption in Shield in Captain America 2? Winter Soldier didn't, people are still corrupt. Yes, I do agree that we should have some oversight, but I don't think that they should be able to tell us what to do, because they are corrupt themselves. And you'll understand everything I'm saying when I tell you who the UN puts forward as the leader of this group, and that's General Thunderbolt Ross. Like, not a villain per se, but not a good guy in the comics either. He's the guy who's always chasing Hulk down, who then actually injects himself with Hulk blood and makes himself into the Red Hulk. So yeah, and then he becomes a villain. So it's like, okay, yeah, but you pick the wrong guy to lead this whole thing. It just makes it feel shady. So they make it so, yeah, you always want to side with Captain America. And that's pretty much, that was my big thing, was like the reason for the Civil War starting was kind of stupid, the collateral damage. Like, and they're showing what happened in Avengers 2, where the whole city is lifting up. They're like, look at all these people who died. Well, did you not want us to go stop Ultron from just lifting up the city and then dropping it and creating a mass catastrophe on Earth where the sun would be blocked out for the next 10 years? Are you saying that collateral damage was not worth us stopping the end of the world? So it was kind of weak.
It's also pretty odd considering where you get in Iron Man 2, as you recall, they talk about whether Tony Stark should be
and they actually take away his Iron Man.
Yeah. Whether he goes in and says, well, I am not going to join the military or anything or whatever, but and he does this snarky thing of, but I'll accept Secretary of Defense or whatever if you want.
Yeah. So that's the only problem I really had.
Which you could say it shows growth, but I don't
know. It just shows flip flopping. The whole movie was great. The plot in general was good, except for the part that really kind of the catalyst, which is sad that the catalyst isn't so great. And then you find out why they're really fighting each other, and there's actually somebody else behind the scenes pulling strings. But that's neither here nor there. All in all, overall, this was a spectacular movie. One of the best Marvel movies I've seen. I still put Ant-Man up there, maybe above it, maybe not. And maybe Avengers 1 above it, maybe not. It's up there. And Iron Man 1 is right up in there, the pantheon. But those are the absolute cream of the crop to me. So this is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's definitely worth the price of admission. Hell, I mean, I don't like 3D movies, but I'd see it in 3D just because it'd be worth it. So my overall score for this movie is it's a 4.5 out of 5. If you can suspend some of your disbelief with what's going on in the superhero world, which it should be easy because they're superheroes. I mean, if they can just be superheroes, then anything can really happen. It is an amazing movie. It is a great thrill ride. It's super entertaining. I do recommend it for everybody. Go out and watch it. Hell of a good time. And they have a lot of loose ends there, so there's still a lot for Marvel. I believe this was the start of Marvel Phase 3, so it's definitely a good start to the Phase 3. I'm looking forward to what's coming next. But let us know what you think if you've seen the movie. Hit us up, comments down below. Of course, at What's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook. Always good ways getting a hold of us. But let's keep on rolling, and let's talk a little TV.
Summer TV 2016.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to restart that segment. And so, summer is coming. It is right around the corner. And what does that mean? That usually means horrible TV. Well, the past decade it's meant something different. We actually get good stuff, especially since these streaming services are still pumping out good shows after good shows. It used to mean get ready for reruns. Now it means get ready for some exciting TV. And I'm going to run down a list of some of the shows that I think I will pay attention to this summer. And so let's go ahead and kick it off. Now, yes, I am a little bit late on it. Yes, it's not technically summer. But on May 1st, Penny Dreadful Season 3 came out, and that is an awesome show. If you like werewolves, if you like vampires, if you like Frankenstein, jump into this. It's a good show. It's on Showtime. Season 3 just started May 1st. I'm sure they have it on demand. You can catch up if you haven't seen any of the other ones, so check that one out. Then on May 22nd, we have AMC coming out with the Preacher TV show adaptation of the graphic novel, maybe a comic. Mm-hmm. This one is written by Seth Goldberg and Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it should be interesting. It's about a priest who like turns away from being a priest and then comes back to being a priest and then like fights demons. So
All right.
I can get down. I can get down. Then on May 27th, we have Bloodline season 2. Now, if you didn't watch it last year, it is a pretty slow paced show, but it is worth it. It really is. Excellent acting, excellent directing, just perfect show. It's like a really cool, like noir type feel. So if you're into those types of shows, check out Bloodline. Season one's already out. Get ready for season two coming on May 27th from Netflix. Then on May 30th, we have, it's not really a TV show, but it's kind of a mini-series event. They're redoing Roots. It's going to be, I believe, a 4-part miniseries.
Hmm.
It's going to be broadcast on actually like 4 networks: History, A&E, and a couple other channels. So
That's unusual.
no, they've been doing that recently.
Where networks like just team up and
Those
all
4
bro-
networks.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Are they are they owned by the same company now?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's why they do it. I believe they did it when they did a mini series of War and Peace. So yeah, they've done this before. There is a precedent for it. But it seems interesting. I never really. I mean, I saw the old Roots with LeVar Burton in it a long time ago. But it's a really good story to tell, and it's something we should all know. So watch it, watch it. Then on June 21st, I know I skipped a little bit there. We have Queen of the South. I believe this is a USA show. It is about one of the most powerful women drug lords, I believe,
Hmm.
that's ever been in America. So we get so many men drug lords stories. We don't really get the women. So time to represent, ladies. Time to represent. You can kill just as ruthlessly as any
Yeah, I was
man.
gonna say, is this good or bad or?
Eh,
All right,
yeah,
it's just a thing.
It should be entertaining. That's what it should be. That's all that matters to me. So I look forward to seeing that one. Then on July 1st, we have Marco Polo season 2 coming out. It took them a really long time to get this one out, but after they spent over $100 million on season 1, yeah, I'm not surprised they slowed it up a little bit. Season 1 was very
Wow.
entertaining and enjoyable, but probably not $100 million worth. So.
I mean, it looked like it was an expensive project.
Oh no, yeah, it had great production values. I mean, the sets were beautiful, everything was amazing, and it probably won't cost as much for season 2 because you already have a lot of that stuff built.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
I am interested in season 2 because season 1 didn't end on a cliffhanger per se, but they definitely let you know that there's more to be had from the story. So
and they
I am
gave us
looking forward to that,
they gave us the Hundred Eyes story in between
which
that
was pretty
time.
awesome too. The blind guy, how he became blind, and how come he's such a beast of a fighter. So that's really cool. Then also on July 1st, we have from the Sci-Fi Network, Dark Matter season 2. If you haven't seen
Nice.
season 1, check it out. It's on Netflix. It's really entertaining. It's about a group of people who pretty much wake up in space, and they don't quite know why they're there. So,
Or why they have
pretty
cool
entertaining.
abilities to do things. Kind of. I
Ruin
mean,
the show.
they're just proficient at various things.
Nope, you just ruined the show. They have abilities.
They
You ruined
don't
it.
have a well. They
Turns
kind
out
of have
they're all
abilities.
superheroes in disguise as Spider-Man.
Yes, that's the show.
They're all Spider-Man, all at the same time.
This is from that version of Spider-Man where he meets up with his other versions from other dimensions, but for some reason
No.
he doesn't know who he is.
Yep, exactly, and he's in space.
Yes.
So yeah, to keep on moving, July 13th, you have season 2 of Mr. Robot, which actually I didn't watch, but I heard a lot of really good things about this show. It was apparently kind of like a cool like Fight Club esque type feel to it, and if you're into computers, apparently it has some cool computer stuff.
Yeah, it's
Brendan, did
supposed
you
to
watch the
be.
first season?
I didn't watch it, but my coworkers talk about it all the time as being one of the more accurate depictions of how security and computers work anyway in film. So
Hey, it was apparently a pretty riveting plot. So I would have to check out season 1 before I jump into season 2, but that's something I kind of actually want to do. So that's good. And then the last show to close out the summer, July 17th. Yes, I know the summer goes on further. I just didn't really see any other shows that I really wanted to see. Is the HBO show Vice Principals that stars Danny McBride. and the guy from a lot of different movies. He was in Hateful Eight most recently. Can't remember his name, but it just looks hilarious. Danny McBride. He does funny things with HBO. If you haven't ever seen Eastbound and Down, it's a hilarious show. And this one looks like it's going to pick up the mantle right where that one left off. So, yeah, vice principals. I can imagine hilarity will ensue. Hilarity. But those are the movies. Those are the TV shows that I'm looking forward to watching this summer. Hit me up. Let me know what you're looking forward to watch. Or is there one of these things on this list that you really, really want to watch? Or is there one of these things that you think is stupid? Hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face on Twitter. Google Plus and Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. But let's keep on rolling. And let's go to our most recent segment. And it's a segment to do because I have no time to do any other prep work. And this requires absolutely zero prep work for me to do. And it's called Headlines.
Headlines!
And this is where I just go through a really popular internet gaming news website. That was where I say IGN website, and yeah, just read the headlines off. Why not? See what we say about them. Okay, so let's start off. X-Men Apocalypse review. Wow, they already have a review up. The movie doesn't even come out until the end of the month. That is actually a really good sign because a lot of movie production companies will not let you watch the movie. At least the reviewers watch the movie until right before it comes out or right when it comes out.
Or they'll let them watch it, but they won't let them publish.
They won't let them review it early.
Yeah. They won't let them publish the review for it.
And so if you're letting them watch it and publish the review this early, that's good signs. That means they think they have a hit on their hands, which I'm really hoping they do because, yeah, I want a good one. All right, so creepy 3D printed Star Wars skulls. That's just the headline. Apparently you can 3D print Star Wars skulls.
I suppose you could.
Yeah.
What makes them Star Wars skulls versus other skulls?
I don't know.
Are they alien skulls?
There you go. You can see it right there. Yeah, it doesn't even look too Star Warsy for me. So, all right. Hey, a visual history of every Power Rangers team costume. Yeah, there's probably been a lot.
Yeah, it's still going on, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped, man. Power Rangers is crazy.
And it changes every season. Like I think at least in Japan it's supposed to be a different one every season,
So yeah. So 30. Wait, hold on. This is something I already read. It says, yeah, Sci-Fi orders pilot for story about Superman's grandfather. We beat you to it, IGN. We did that story 2 weeks ago. That's about Krypton, if you haven't seen that one. So acclaimed comic Lock and Key getting a new TV adaptation. Sounds interesting. I always like comic book adaptations for TV.
Do you always?
Not always, you're right. A lot of the times. They always seem like interesting things. I'd like to see them.
Well, have we seen any bad ones lately? Not really.
It's true. They've been getting better at it. New Pokemon Sun and Moon video coming tomorrow. That is the biggest ripoff in all of history. How can Pokemon release 2 of the same exact games and literally tell you all you have to do is buy both so you can get all the Pokemon? Really, the point of playing Pokemon is to catch them all, but they restrict it so you have to buy 2 identical copies.
Or you have to have friends.
Things change up around here.
Or you have to have friends.
I don't have any friends. What the hell? Who the hell do they think I am?
It's made great money for Nintendo, and not only do you need that though, but remember, you can trade up. They take Pokemon out of various versions, but you can still trade up. So that means you need to have all of the Pokemon games.
Oh my god!
I think they've actually they've done something like this Pokemon Bank system where they helped bring in some of the old ones, but still, you need a lot of Pokemon games to really catch them all.
They're jerks. So yeah, that's our headlines for the day. Can't really think of anything else. Huh? Yes, Wolverine 3 will be rated R. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's just a headline, but that's pretty cool. It should be rated R. That'll make it a better movie. But yeah, those were our headlines. Yeah. Hope we informed you of something because all I did was read a headline and say random stuff. So hope you liked it.
I hope so too.
But let's keep on rolling. Let's talk some video games.
Video games!
Now, Overwatch is the much anticipated Blizzard FPS coming out at the end of May. And we just got our first real hands-on as the general public with this game in the form of the beta that
Open
is
beta.
free to play. I believe it's still out there. It was open actually. They said from the 5th to the 9th if you didn't pre-order the game, but I was actually playing it on the 4th, I believe, and I didn't pre-order the game, so I'll take it. If they want to let me play it an extra day early, I will take it. And so let's jump right into things and let's start breaking it down. Let's break it down presentation. Beautiful. It had smooth graphics, great looking characters, bright and vibrant feel to the whole entire world. Now, again, it's just a beta, so I'm pretty sure they held back a lot of the maps that they were going to show us. But the maps that they did show you, they were well designed, well thought out. There's plenty of avenues to go. And if you don't know what Overwatch really is supposed to be, it's supposed to be an FPS MOBA combination. So really, you have paths to go. You got to control those paths to get to the objective and complete said objective. So presentation, it was spectacular, beautiful, everything was great. Gameplay and controls will be the next thing we break down. Well, so at first getting into it felt a little weird. It just didn't feel quite normal. I am used to more FPSs like the Destinies, like the Call of Duties out there, and this is definitely not those. Yeah, it's technically in the same genre, but very, very different. Not only does each character have its own different way of moving, some of them can have like super speed up. Like one guy can sprint, nobody else can sprint. One girl can just like warp here and there, nobody else can do that. They have lots of different ways of going about it. The controls are all pretty much basically the same. It's almost if you think about Super Smash Brothers, just up B changes an ability for them, and down B is the well L1 is an ability for this guy. It's a totally different ability every time, but so the controls are pretty easy, but the way you control them is a little bit different. Also, I couldn't get used to for the first 10-15 minutes of playing the game that you don't zoom in to aim down the reticles. It's more like a PC shooter where you don't really zoom in as much and you kind of just move it over and boom, click and shoot. So it was cool. Now I did get more and more comfortable with it as I went on, and it felt better and better. And especially as I got to know the characters, I felt better and better. Now there are about I want to say about 16 characters that they let you fight. All of them very very unique from each other. So that was pretty cool. And it's pretty fun figuring out which character you like to play best with, which one fits your play style.
I get the impression,
and like I said, there are, huh?
I get the impression that it's kind of a weird analogy, but like a League of Legends FPS, you have.
I just said it was an FPS and a MOBA.
Yes, but I said League of Legends.
Okay, you just said a more specific MOBA. Gotcha.
The one that everyone knows.
Everybody knows Dota as well.
Yeah, vaguely.
But yeah. So that's kind of what they're going for, which is cool. It's an interesting idea. It's not something that we've really gotten. Now, this is where I start to get into a little bit of the negatives. The gameplay, now it's just a beta, so don't get me wrong, everything can kind of change, but the modes that you play are pretty simple. It's either capture a point and escort what they call the payload, which is just a truck, to another point, or defend the point and don't let the truck come to your point. It's really the only game mode I've seen in there. There's probably some other ones here or there. There's no deathmatch that I could tell. And again, they're probably holding a lot back because it is just a beta, pretty much as a demo. So that being said, it's not the biggest detractor, but it did feel like it was getting a little stale just playing the same game modes over and over in the same maps over and over. I only had the game for 3 days. You would hope that and they gave us like 5 maps. You would hope that it wouldn't quite feel like that after, 3-4 days, but it kind of did start to feel a little stale. So that's kind of,
that's actually a pretty bad sign for gameplay for such a multiplayer focused game, because usually I think the other multiplayer focused games, especially FPSs, there's only a handful of areas that people really concentrate on, and usually,
usually like a Call of Duty team deathmatch keeps that thing going.
Particular maps usually are pretty big. Like it's usually, there might be a million maps, but there's a handful that people spend a lot of time on. So usually that's
do I expect them to have only that game mode to come out? No, I expect more game modes to come out when it launches. Now we don't need any more characters. That's one thing they did amazing. The cast of characters is incredibly diverse and entertaining. Again, got into my controls and gameplay. It just there's a lot of people to choose from, and picking which one you like is best. So let's just jump into the overall. Overall, it was very very fun beta. Getting used to all the characters, learning some of their little tricks and stuff, and figuring out which one really fits your play style is probably one of the most fun things about the beta so far, because I really did enjoy, okay, I'm going to play as this guy for this entire match. All right, sucked as him. All right, I'm going to pick her. All right, I was pretty good with her. All right, I'm going to pick him now. Okay, and these are similar types. Okay, and then just really honing in onto like 4 or 5 characters that I really enjoyed playing with, and I got actually pretty good, I'd say. I do have a Twitch stream up. It's only 23 minutes long. I don't know why. It should be a lot longer than that. But I have it where I went one match, I went 30-0. The next match, I went like 28-1. I got really good with some characters, and it was a lot of fun. And I felt like an absolute beast in that game for a while. And then that kind of went away because I guess I started playing against better players. But everything, it got really fun, especially when I narrowed down to the couple characters that I really enjoyed playing with and that fit my play style. Now, another aspect of this is it is very team oriented. It's not as much you can do with just the beta because you can't really, well, I guess you could get a team together, but it's a little bit harder to get a team together and really start playing with them, because they even say it when you're picking your characters, there's 6 people per side. And if you don't have enough tank characters, they say, oh, you didn't pick any tank characters. You didn't pick enough offensive characters or healers or builders or this, that, and the third. And so it really does make a difference when you can balance out your teams. So that'll probably get a lot more fun and more important when the regular game comes out, because you'll be like, oh, hey, I played with this guy. Hey, let me send him a friend request. And boom, you're really getting into things. The only problem I have is that it kind of gave me the same feeling as the Star Wars Battlefront beta. Ooh. Where I had a lot of fun with that, but I really didn't have very much fun with the overall release. The big release of Battlefront beta of Battlefront, I bought the game, I played it for about a week, and then I stopped. So I'm kind of in this limbo of, do I want to buy the game or do I not? I don't really know, because again, it's giving me the same feeling Battlefront did, and I was way more hyped about Battlefront. I mean, we talked about that 100 times on this show. I only talked about Overwatch like 2 or 3 times, and if it's giving me that feeling, it's a little weird. But falling back on everything, it's a unique game. It's creating its own genre almost, and it's doing it in a really fun and exciting way. And if any company is going to go out there and do that, Blizzard is definitely the company I want doing it, because they just make good games. Simple as that. They just make awesome games.
I'm trying to think of, do we have any really bad games from Blizzard?
No. Not that I know of, at least.
Yeah, I can't think of it. There's been some that's franchises that have had, less great entries, but that's about it.
Yeah, but there's a reason that they take a decade between releasing games of like Diablo 2. And a decade later, Diablo 3, StarCraft. Decade later, StarCraft 2. They do that on purpose because they really want to take their times with their games. So I respect and honor that. And I'm just hoping Overwatch becomes another one of their catalog that you're just like, yep, 5-star game. Now, I'm not going to rate the beta. I've rated betas before. It's not fair to anybody to rate a beta, because, again, it is not the full game. I will say that plenty of things that made me excited. A couple of things that kind of took away from that excitement, though. So, but yeah, hit us up, let us know what you think. Did you play the beta? Are you with me? Do you think it's better, or do you think it's worse? Hit us up, let us know. Comments down below, of course, at What's My Face on Twitter. Google us on Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. That's it. We're done. We're getting out of here.
Oh no.
As always, I'm Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire, the tyrant so cool, Brendan.
Yo.
And we are going to a headbang on the way out of the restaurant. Good night, everybody.